Nightwing number 27, Tim Seeley writing, Xavier Fernandez on art. So this is Spiral seemed to be the bad guys. That's kind of how it ended last issue, and here like Tiger and the rest of them fight Nightwing and Huntress. They have a bit of a tussle. It looks like things aren't going to go their way. They're genuinely worried. Okay, it looks like Spiral's gone dark, and they go running. But luckily, Huntress hears some music, and she's like, right, follow the music, and their invisible helicopter that the women of St. Hadrian's are piloting is there to save them.
I love that so much. It's so just like it's straight from Grayson, you know, like yeah.
Ariana Grande, I believe, was the track or the artist.
Ariana Grande, and I'm just like, where is this going? And because I was like, is this something Dick's doing? Like, and then no, it was.
I was just glad they called it annoying, like that annoying pop music. I was like, yeah, Ariana Grande is annoying.
No true sentiments have been said.
I don't think I've ever heard any of her tracks. I have no.
I don't think I've ever envied you more.
You're fortunate.
No, I have no idea what she sounds like. So, I mean, could be new wave electronic stuff for all I know. Probably
definitely
isn't.
not.
No, it's annoying pop. This was accurate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like the ladies kind of explain that things have went dark and like their fourth members went. And forgive me if I'm not familiar with the names because I didn't read Grayson past a couple of issues. So I will go back and read it at some point. Okay, I'm not refusing, but and it's like, okay, we're actually worried that things have went bad, and they're like, okay, while they're all here, while they're regrouping, let's go back to the school. Let's go back to St. Hadrian's. Probably my favourite thing in this book was the double page spread, and it was like each panel was labelled as a class, and it was them sneaking into the building, so it was like, oh, it was gymnastics with laser avoidance and this and that, and it was just all these things.
Sneaking with laser avoidance.
Yeah, there was like two laser avoidance ones. It was pretty funny.
Spelunking was one of them.
Yeah, that's the other one.
It was just a very creative page. It was a really fun way of like showing how hard it was to get in, with obviously Nightwing doing his narration and explaining kind of what's going through his head and whatnot.
Can we just point out one of the classes is Cyber Arachnic Smashery?
Yeah.
That's a great class.
I feel like I'd be great at that class.
Punching robots, to put it in a more layman's phrase.
Spider-shaped robots.
Spider-shaped robots.
I like that Helena turns to him and says that, oh look, you were a superhero teaching me how to be a spy, and now it's the reverse. She's a spy being taught to be a superhero. I thought it was a nice touch. And her relation to what had happened at St. Hadrian's, because she left to go join Birds of Prey on a revenge kick, you know?
Yeah, and
now she feels responsible.
And Nightwing's feeling guilty about Giz and everything that's happened because of him.
Yep.
And then it was like, no, snap out of it, we need to do something about it. And they eventually get to like Tiger, but he holograms out the way. And then it's revealed at the end that he's not actually been fighting Tiger. The real Tiger's actually strapped up to like a wall. He's held prisoner.
And how does he greet him?
I can't remember.
Idiot.
There you go.
Classic Tiger.
Because he says that, man, Tiger's off his game because he should have called me an idiot by now. And that was like the first clue that something wasn't right.
Yeah. Which begs the question: who is the fake Tiger? Who's wearing the fancy mask?
Well, judging from reading Grayson, that whole story built to, I forget the character's name, but it was the original Spiral founder, and it had to do with Ouroboros trying to make a host out of Dick or Helena, and it looks like the mission was accomplished, and they made a host out of somebody. I mean, no, it's not Tiger because Tiger's chained up. So yeah, it was a pretty good issue. I like the art because it's sketchy.
Yeah,
like not sketchy in that bad way, but it looks has a lot of the extra lines on it.
I think the layouts as they were getting into the school was probably my favourite part. Obviously, there was a little subplot as well, where we see Defacer that as well, but Defacer and Pigeon, and Pigeon's like slapping the phone out her hands, like, you won't need that, we're here to do things. But obviously the phone call was Stallion worried about Mouse because like, oh, we can't find her, she's maybe doing something out of character, which then cuts very neatly to her walking into Roland Desmond's club. Her hair's all straightened, so it's not the usual Mouse like sort of little buns.
Yep.
And she's like in this sort of sleek dress, and she's there for something. And then later on, we don't get to see what. She's flirting with him, but we don't actually know what she's getting at. And then later on, when Pigeon and that are actually still in the statue, she's like coming up the building Catwoman style with the suction pads. Again, who knows what she's doing, but she's up to something.
They also introduced, I think they introduced to here that she was trained by Catwoman, which I think is hilarious because it's Catwoman and Mouse. Like, you know.
It's true.
That is a very good point, Sylvester.
That didn't even dawn on me.
Yeah. Not Sylvester, Tom and Jerry. That's what I was going for.
Tom and Jerry. And you know, still nothing will be sadder than the little squirrel going to Giz's grave. Like,
that's pretty sad.
Right, but here they rebounded that with her, like, taking action, because we really haven't seen her do anything but play off of Giz. You know, like, she showed up to the meetings, and we know she has a past.
We know they're all there for a reason, but we don't really see... We've not seen many of them actually do anything.
No, I mean, I've seen some of Stallion in the original Nightwing stuff, because I read the second trade of that recently. Yeah. And he pops up in that as his villain self, like, doing what he was, you know, what he presumably was in this continuity doing before as well. But we've not really seen, and I think it's interesting that we're maybe fleshing them out a little bit, and maybe Gizzy's death will prompt a big change for her, where she'll have more of an arc because as a result of that. But again, it's just them building a supporting cast in a really cool way, like. Yeah. So. And
I've never been more irritated with a villain as I am with Pigeon, because I don't get, like, what, we're just gonna go smash art.
I feel like she's kind of one of these hipster villains who's like, I want to be a political activist, but all I'm really doing is being a graffiti.
See, I think there's going to be more to it, and that's kind of just the front, almost.
Maybe.
I hope, because I like DePhaser. I like Sean a lot, and I feel like part of her plan is she's going undercover with Pigeon to prove that Pigeon really hasn't changed, and she has. So, but just like this whole...
I hope so, because
remember fly up and...
Remember, the complaint from last issue was that her decision to then go with her felt really abrupt and didn't really feel justified. Right. So I'm hoping it's an undercover thing, but...
I do think ultimately this issue kind of felt like, it's just the next chapter in the story, which is fine.
Yeah.
It was still an enjoyable read, but I don't think it had a lot of things for just on its own.
No, it wasn't monumental. No. It was just a fun next chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, it is. They've got to happen at some point.
I feel like you get more out of it if you have Red Grayson with the majority of the Spiral stuff here.
I do think the Sanhedrian's girls, like, I thought they were interesting. Like, they had a cool look to them.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite parts of that, because Dick's teaching there, as like he brings up, he was the gym teacher, and they all can't get over how good looking he is, and so they end up kind of going on an adventure with him as the Skullgirls, as he's Nightwing, and they're kind of like, wow, his butt's kind of familiar. So there's that good old Grayson joke. But yeah, they pop in and out of Grayson, and are really cool because they're all they're aristocrats. Like, their family are all well-to-do. But to give them purpose, they send them to the school, and they learn to be like not quite spies, but as I said, bodyguards and whatnot. So it's a fun comic book. It's not quite a trope, but...
I do think Grayson is really underrated as a run.
It is.
And I think it's anyone who's reading Nightwing and didn't read it, it's well worth going back and checking out, because it adds a lot.
Which actually reminds me, one of the editor's notes in this was, be a cool kid and go read Grayson, was one of the editor's notes.
Yeah, be like me and Connor. And I'm not going to lie, there are some issues that are kind of tough, but the good more than outweigh the bad. It was Seeley and King just having a lot of fun with the character. And now it's like I always gave a lot of the credit to the spy stuff with King, because clearly his background. But now I'm thinking, oh no, Seeley's just as adept at telling spy stuff.
I'm just waiting for Nightwing to start singing his theme song again. That's all I'm waiting on.
To the tune of 007.
Exactly.